Welcome to Scrolling to Death. Today, I am joined by tech policy expert and child safety advocate Rick Lane. Welcome, Rick.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here again. We've chatted before, and today we're here to talk about something major that happened in D.C. last week in the Rose Garden outside of the White House. The president signed a bill that actually protects children from some of the harms that they face online. Can you tell listeners about the Take It Down Act?
Yes, the Take It Down Act is really an important first step in terms of protecting kids and adults from online sexually explicit deepfakes. And it has two very important component pieces. One is the making it illegal to have unsolicited and unconsensual sex videos of one person, of an individual, again, without their consent.
Mhm.
And that is critical because we've seen revenge porn and all the things that are happening out there and the mental harms that that can cause and other harms. And so this finally makes that illegal to do. Also importantly, it has a takedown provision, takedown and stay down, which is very important. And the takedown provision basically says once a platform is notified that there is an image of them that was uploaded without their consent, the website has to take it down within 48 hours and have technical mechanisms to make sure it stays down.
Wow.
And so that's a critical piece of this as well. And that provision is enforced by the Federal Trade Commission.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they don't do it, the Federal Trade Commission can step in and have sanctions against those companies.
Okay. Does that mean that they have to keep duplicates of the image off of their site too, or just remove the one that was reported?
Yeah, they should use some type of photo DNA to make sure that's scraped off their entire site.
Okay.
Because it's a take down, stay down. So that would mean if there's duplicates, they should not be up there as well.
Yes. Amazing. Okay. I'm really grateful that this bill kind of lumps together both the revenge porn piece where you've shared an image consensually, but then it got out of hand and you don't want it out there and the other partner is sharing it around and you need it down. But also the AI generated deepfake nude imagery, which children that have been victims of this say feels just as traumatic when that is out there because that AI generated nude imagery looks so real. So I'm glad that all of that is covered and that there's the pressure on the social media companies to take that down. So this is a big win. It's a big win for families and victims, but it's just one piece of the puzzle. We need to pass lots of legislation to get the protections that our kids deserve. I imagined it like a leaky roof, like we patched one crack, but there's like dozens more, and we're drenched and we're tired and we're ready for some help. So what happens? What needs to happen next?
Yeah, so I always look at it as there's a bunch of bills on the same track, but there are different trains. So there are different times that they're coming down the track.
Okay.
And so Take It Down was the first one. You got that through, passed, signed by the president this past Monday. Then the next two that are coming down that are similar to the Take It Down Act and part of the Take It Down Act is the DEFIANCE Act and the No Fakes Act.
Okay. So tell me about those two.
Sure. So the Defiance Act brings about the civil remedies that Take It Down does not have in it.
Okay.
So Take It Down was passed by and introduced in the Senate Commerce Committee. So they have criminal law, but they don't have civil litigation authority and jurisdiction.
Okay.
So the next piece of the puzzle, which is going through Senate Judiciary Committee and the House Judiciary Committees, is the Defiance Act. And that provides civil remedies for unconsensual uploads of images. Third piece of the deepfake AI, and that was a big focus of yesterday's hearing, the good, the bad, and the ugly of AI in 2025 and deepfakes. And the No Fakes Act was originally designed to help protect the name, image, and likeness of actors and actresses and others. But the way they wrote it, which was really good, it applies to all of us. So this is deepfakes that are not sexual in nature, but can create physical and mental harms because they are your image. So I'd like to say this protects the rest of us from harm and provides civil litigation and also creates a mechanism and requirement for websites to take them down.
Mhm.
So if I create an image of you, Nikki, and use you, and you're saying, and I make you say something that's not you,
Mhm.
right now, if you go to YouTube and say, please take this down, there's no mechanism, there's no legal requirement for them to take that image down.
Right.
This legislation provides you with a recourse to say, no, I did not consent for my image to be used in that way, and therefore take it down.
Okay.
And so that's the another big piece. So these three bills working together where you have criminal, you have FTC enforcement, civil enforcement on the deep fake sexual images that are being
Mhm.
created, and then on other NIL image and like images that are being created without your consent,
Mhm.
you also now have the No Fakes Act.
Yeah.
So these bills working together are critical in terms of protecting us in this new AI deep fake environment.
Okay. No fakes is especially important because I track, what's going on with the character AI and the chatbot apps. And there's users creating duplicates of other people, even deceased children and teens that look and can even sound like that person. And you can make them kind of engage in different conversations. And that's really scary.
And that's exactly why it's so important because it's
Yeah.
name, image, likeness, and voice.
Yeah.
And this also gets into a lot of the scams that are out there where,
Mhm.
someone's using your voice and image to go and create grandma and also the creation of those. So it provides really another mechanism for people to protect their themselves in the sense in an online environment, their digital selves.
Okay. So I know that the Kids Online Safety Act was reintroduced in the Senate. So where are we at with that one and how does it fit in with the others?
Yeah, so that bill, the Kids Online Safety Act, KOSA, is another piece of this important puzzle
Mhm.
because what KOSA does is says that people who are building apps or websites have to ensure that they're building them with safety in mind for children.
Mhm.
It's the how are they constructing their sites? What are they doing? What could they have done to make it safer? And so it holds these websites and platforms accountable for their conduct and how they're building apps and other types of things that the apps can do.
Great. So it feels like there's a lot of hope for this year for a lot to pass to protect our kids online. And parents often ask me, what can I do to help? And this is truly a real thing we can do is show our support and tell our lawmakers that we support bills like this. So what's the best way for parents to do that?
Yes, I think we have to start bundling these issues together so parents don't get overwhelmed. Like,
Yeah.
what's the difference between this bill, that bill, and the other bill?
Yeah.
So take it down's already passed, and then and signed into law. So we can just cheer that on and say that's the first step. That creates a precedent in terms of structure of taking it down and stay down. Those important types of provisions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the last 3 are ones that we have to make sure parents don't go overwhelmed, like, "Well, I supported Defiance, but why no fakes?" And then COSA, how are they all different?
Hmm.
We, as advocates, have to do a really good job, and Nikki, this is what you're so great at doing, is showing and having a place for parents to go to understand those nuanced differences, that they are all equally important and all play a role in protecting our kids in
Hmm.
this new AI deepfake world that our kids are facing.
Okay, so it's a package deal. And we need to contact our senators and representatives in the House and ask for their support of these bills. An email, a message, use the message form on their website, a phone call. Is that all on the table? All good ways?
Absolutely, and if people have time, during the summer, there's gonna be a lot of town hall meetings, right? There's the members are coming back to their districts, senators
Mhm.
are having events. I would highly recommend bringing signs with support these bills,
Mhm.
bringing it up in the town halls, make sure that they hear you loud and clear. The one thing I can say that has been very inspiring to me I've been working on these bills and this type of legislation for many, many years,
Mhm.
is that there are so many more people like yourself who have gotten involved and bringing more and more parents and other individuals to raise awareness of these issues and reaching out,
Mhm.
that when we did a whole day of meetings in the Senate with Nicki before the hearing on yesterday,
Mhm.
the response of staff and everybody is they're all on our side. There isn't this pushback that I used to experience back in the early days where tech is wonderful, tech is great,
Mhm.
you don't know what you're talking about. That has completely flipped. So now it's just getting that over the finish line by making sure that the voices continue to be vocal and loud, and to make sure that members know that back home there's a lot of support for this legislation,
Okay.
because the tech community is really on their heels right now, and they know
Okay.
it and they feel it.
Yeah, and they're still spending millions of dollars trying to lobby against these bills.
Yeah,
So
they are.
it's important for us to be loud, and I think there's never been an issue that's touched every single home and is so bipartisan. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle we're on. This is something that's affecting us, and these bills are a way to fix it and a way to make up some ground that we lost in the last few years, kind of not realizing what was happening. But these companies realized what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, there was always a handful of us kind of yelling and working on these
Yeah.
bills for a very long time. But I think it finally took people to realize and see it happening to their friends and family to
Mhm.
get them involved. And then they started talking about it, and it's just grown greater and greater and greater over time.
Mhm.
And even up on the Hill when we were lobbying the Senate, the roll call was out on all these tables, and there were full page, double-sided ads from TikTok saying how wonderful they are in protecting children.
Mhm.
And so I went into one of the meetings with that, and I said, "You know this is a lie." And they all
Mhm.
laughed at it. They're like, "We don't even know why they're spending their money here, because it's not resonating. No one's buying it anymore. No one's
Okay.
buying what they're selling." And that's great. So now we just have to make sure we get that push with House leadership in particular, but also, the members to feel the support that we are not giving up.
Okay, amazing. So if parents who are listening don't know who their senator is or the representative in the House, you can go to senate.gov or house.gov and just put in your address, and it'll let you know, and even who your rep is, and then guide you to contact them. And so and they're there to represent us. They're there to hear our interests and make decisions that are best for all of us. And so we have to tell them what we want, and we have to make our voices heard. And it sounds like it's going to be received very well. It sounds like they just need we need this final push. Parents' voices are going to be that final push.
Yes, absolutely. And people always think it's about money. And yes, money plays a role in
Mhm.
lobbying, but what does money get for a member? If someone writes a big campaign check or a PAC check to a member, the goal of that campaign check is to go into their campaign so they can get voters to vote for them. So we are the voters. We
Yeah.
are the check.
Right.
We are what people are trying to spend money to influence, is us as their constituents.
Mhm.
And so we have to realize that is our power, that we are the constituents that are voting. We're going to be in the voting booth, and we're the ones who are going to help either elect them or elect their opponent because of where they stand on these critical, important issues to protect our children.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share?
There's one other issue that's percolated out of the House that is of great concern,
Yeah.
that's getting a lot more press, which is this 10-year moratorium on state AI legislation and regulation and laws. So the House unfortunately included in what was known as the Budget Reconciliation Bill. People probably know it better as the Big Beautiful Bill,
Mhm.
the one big beautiful bill.
Mhm.
In that bill is this provision that basically creates this moratorium. And so the good news is that, yes, it's gone through the House, but on the Senate side, there is strong bipartisan opposition to it.
Yeah.
In addition, the Senate has different set of rules. There's this thing called the Byrd Rule, which means you can't have legislation on a reconciliation bill, on this tax bill. And so the members will go up to the Senate. Someone will say this is a violation of the Byrd Rule,
Mhm.
and then the Senate will vote, and it'll be stripped out, and there's nothing the House can do about it. So
Okay.
that's a great thing because the members are already saying that they don't like it. Senator Blackburn said it at the hearing yesterday. Other members are saying it. There were 40 state AGs, bipartisan AGs, that sent a letter to House leadership
Mhm.
saying that they oppose it. The Wall Street Journal has mentioned this. And so there's a lot of opposition. How it got in, that's probably a longer conversation, but
Mhm.
I think they're feeling the heat because they had a hearing yesterday as well on AI. They were trying to justify it, and it just was not resonating. And
Okay,
so
good.
there's people are starting to back down on it, but a 10-year moratorium on state AI legislation, that's a disaster for all of us.
Yeah. Because of the way it's harming children, because of these AI chatbots having sexualized conversations with kids, encouraging them to take their lives or kill their parents. Like
Mhm.
we need these companies to implement safeguards when they're targeting those products to children and they're not implementing them on their own. So we need to regulate them into that.
I would just say, think about this as Section 230 for AI development, because that's what Section 230 does. It prohibits state and local laws from being enforced and civil action from occurring. And so if there's no federal law, which there isn't around AI, and there's no state law, there are no rules and regulations for
Mhm.
the future of AI. And without having state laws in place, what would be the incentive of these AI companies to come to the Capitol Hill and say, please regulate us? We're not regulated at all right now. They
Mhm.
could drag this out for forever.
Okay.
And that's the real concern.
Okay. So this was a scary move, but something that we don't really have to worry too much about because it'll die in the Senate.
Hopefully, yeah. Oh, I would if I would request people reach out to their senators on this and say
Okay.
that this is a bad idea
In the budget reconciliation bill, the moratorium on AI regulation.
for state and local. Yes,
Okay.
10-year AI state and local moratorium.
Okay. I'll put that in the episode notes. That was a lot of words. Um,
Yes, it is. What we can do also is put some links
mhm.
to some of the articles on this and the position papers and the state AG letter so people can
Yeah.
see what the concerns are for themselves. I think it's going to be a very busy summer. Please protect your kids. Understand that it's not safe to be on some of these apps,
Yeah.
and talk to your kids.
Let them play outside.
Let them play outside.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Rick. I appreciate your insight here.
Oh, thank you.